Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the new Mr. Rogers biopic. I only saw one movie today. It's kind of refreshing. Like, I didn't have to go see two in one day. It's like, oh, that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to only see one movie a day sometimes after you've had a really long couple days, especially after seeing like a double feature the night before. This was a movie I was greatly looking forward to, mainly because of the subject matter. I grew up a big fan of Mister Rogers, especially years after he's long gone. He's really fondly remembered as a really great human being. Weirdly enough, out of all the movies that have been coming out over the last couple of weeks, this is the one that everybody's asked me, "Are you going to see the new Mister Rogers movie?" I'm like, really? Like, is there nothing else coming out this weekend or next couple of weeks? Everybody's more interested in my thoughts on the Mister Rogers movie. Like, okay, I've been asked about that more than any fucking other movie over the last couple of weeks. So I thought that was weird, and I had to tell a lot of people like I haven't seen it yet because it's not out yet. So. But I was really. I tell people, yeah, I'm gonna go see that. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I wasn't like the biggest Mister Rogers person. Like, but I watched it like every other kid, growing up, and I adore like my thing with this movie was that I was worried that this movie is going to have a hard act to follow because, last year we had that great documentary, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" I didn't get to see that. I saw it after I stopped doing my reviews, and pretty much you want my thoughts on it. It's a fucking great documentary. Go fucking watch that. It's a really heartwarming, emotional roller coaster of a movie. I love that movie. It's a really good movie. I love it. Just it's a movie that'll make you smile, make you cry. It's a great fucking movie. So, yeah, I was really looking forward. Like, I was worried, like, can this movie kind of be a good counter or a good companion piece to "Won't You Be My Neighbor," or is it just going to be a stereotypical biopic? And I like this movie a fucking hell of a lot. I really did. I really, really, really did like this movie a lot. It's honestly one of my favorite movies of the year. It's not my favorite. It's not my. I would say it's my number one. Honestly, I don't even know if it'll make my top 10. But there's a good possibility it will. I really, really did love this movie. It's a really goddamn good movie, and it is a really good companion piece to "Won't You Be My Neighbor." Won't You Be My Neighbor is like using footage of the real person, Fred Rogers, and this movie is just reenacting a lot of that. The best part of this fucking movie, easily, hands down, I'm not the only one who's going to say this, but it's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks' performance in this movie is one of his best. And he's an actor who's already had some great performances already in his career, but this is easily one of his best. Like he doesn't look like anything like Mr. Rogers or Fred Rogers whatsoever. But his like transformation from the first scene, you automatically buy he's Fred fucking Rogers. Like, he has him down to a fucking pat. Oh my, his whole performance, his transformation, his mannerisms, he is great. Like, his performance is amazing in this movie, and he should be a favorite to win Best Supporting Actor easily. He's gonna probably. I'm not making that. That wasn't a misread. I'll talk about it in a second, but his performance should get him another Oscar. I'm gonna be like, this is like one of those things. It's like, this is up the Oscars alley right off the bat. It's Oscars and Hollywood already love Tom Hanks as it is, for good reason, and also he's playing a very big historical figure, a well-loved figure like Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. So there's just the formula right there for him to win another Oscar. And this is a great performance. So if he does, I'm on board for that. He is awesome. His performance is amazing in this movie. Like, you believe him as Fred Rogers. There's no, like, oh, this is just Tom Hanks. Even though there's some times where I thought, I was like, man, he's kind of sounding a little too Forrest Gump-ish. I was kind of cracking up a little bit. I was like, he does sound like he's doing a Forrest Gump voice. I don't know if I'm the only one who thought that, but I might be the only one. But he does really, I mean this wholeheartedly. He fucking knocks it out of the park. Like, and I couldn't think of a perfect casting as far as somebody to play Fred Rogers either, because like Tom Hanks is one of the most likable people, one of the most likable actors in Hollywood, and he's playing probably the most likable human being on planet Earth, ever lived on the planet Earth. So it's only fitting. Like I said, I'm not joking when I say that he's gonna win Best Supporting Actor, not Best Actor. I thought he was like he would get nominated for Best Actor. No, it'd be Best Supporting Actor, because as much as this movie is about Fred Rogers somewhat, it really isn't his movie. Which is weird. That is a weird little thing. Even though this movie is named after him, it starts with him, everything else like that. There's a reason behind it, and I'll get in that in a second, but the guy plays the main character, Matthew Rees. He's really good in this movie. He's an actor that you recognize, like, I've seen that actor before, but he's not a really big name actor. He's really good. It's like it's mainly his story. He's the reporter that is interviewing Mr. Rogers for a piece. He works for Esquire magazine, which Esquire literally did do a article about Mr. Rogers back in '98. When this movie takes place in, and like he is like kind of has like the kind of person that I could see myself being, like when first meeting Mr. Rogers. Is, like, especially if you don't know, if you're not that big of a fan, because like it's established I don't think he really watched much of Mr. Rogers and really doesn't see him as like a serious person, but then he meets the person and he's like Mr. Rogers, and he's just like, it's kind of funny watching this. Is like, I can imagine it'd be hard to interview Mr. Rogers, because while he is like this really genuine, heartwarming man and really good person, it probably would be frustrating also at the same time, because I'm sure the guy had some of the similar conversations. I don't know how accurate this movie is towards a real person's life, but like I'm sure he had like some of the same conversations with Mr. Rogers. That, like, I can believe that, like, where Mr. Rogers was trying to ask him about his life and his feelings and how about his family and certain different things. And Mr. Rogers was the person that tried to talk to you. One of my things I loved about Fred Rogers more than anything was that they talk about this movie a lot in this movie, is that he was a guy who wasn't afraid. He never talked down to kids. That was the thing I loved, but he treated them as equal. He felt their emotions. He tried to remember what it was like to be a kid. He didn't just like I said, talk down to kids, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Like especially with stuff that you see nowadays, like a lot of kids movies and stuff like that talk down to kids. It's just like, we need people like Mr. Rogers like nowadays more than ever. Not just for that, but also just he's like he represents what is best about about humankind. Like, he's the best of us. He was the best of us. Like, he was one of the most genuinely great people that ever lived. Like, it's amazing to me. Like, I wasn't the only one who said this. Like, Mr. Rogers was like, it's amazing that like we live in such a cynical world. When you hear about a person like Mr. Rogers, you automatically think that, oh, he was probably some weird child molester or something like that just used the TV show to, get kids lure kids in. No, he was just genuinely a great human being. He was that way. A lot of people wondered, like, they make fun of in the documentary about, like, was he gay? People always asked him, was he gay? He's like, no, he wasn't gay. He was straight. He had a wife and everything else like that. He was just a genuinely good human being. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's so abnormal that you don't know what the fuck to expect. Like, you think something's wrong with the guy automatically. That's what the best part about, like, Mr. Rogers is. Like, you think that something's wrong with him or, like, something's abnormal about him, but no, he's just a really good person. One of the weird things about this movie is that I didn't know much about. I don't know how many people know about this going in. Is that this movie is structured like it's a extended episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'm not making that up. Like, the movie opens, it opens like how the TV show opens with him singing "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood." Hence the title. And it's, basically a great reenactment of that opening of the TV show, like spot on, like perfect. Like, you could tell, like, there was a lot of just, like, Tom Hanks just pretty much, like, nailing that, like, everything about that opening of the TV show down to a fucking T. And it basically, the movie opens like it's the opening of one of his episodes of his TV show where he's introducing the main character and saying, "Hello, let's meet my new friend." Yada yada yada. I forget his name off the top of my head, and he's telling basically a little bit of a backstory about him, and then the movie plays out, and like throughout the movie, whenever there would be a scene transition, like one character would go from one place to the other because it takes place multiple times in like New York City, in Pittsburgh, and yada yada yada, back and forth. They would like transition by using like miniatures, like that you would see like in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, like a miniature version of New York City and a miniature version of Pittsburgh. It was really cool. I love that, like, small details like that. I just love, like, I automatically right off the bat, like, when this movie started doing that, like, just playing like it's a extended version of the TV show, it fucking worked for me. I was like, I love this movie. Like, from the fucking get-go, I'm like, I fucking love this movie. I love it. Like, it just brought a big smile to my face, and the whole movie will bring a smile to your face. Oh, yeah, Chris Cooper's in this movie, too. I forgot to mention that. He plays the guy who's the reporter that's following Mr. Rogers. He plays his dad, who he has an estranged relationship with, which I can kind of relate to that character a little bit because I had the same bad relationship with my dad and almost the same situation with him when he died. But, like, it's a movie that, like, it falls under, like, a lot of cliches. You see where it's coming, and it's, like, basically the whole episode of Mr. Rogers is Mr. Rogers helping this guy cope with his relationship with his dad and help it get better. And when his dad is, spoiler, dying, and like it works. Like I said, building the movie around like it's a full length episode of the TV show actually works, and I thought it was really well done. I really appreciated the hell out of it. It can be formulaic, yeah. You want to bitch about the whole story about the reporter and his dad, that gets formulaic. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. And sometimes maybe the more interesting parts are when it's not the movie's not following the reporter. More interesting parts sometimes were honestly the stuff with Mr. Rogers, or hell, even when they had the interaction between the reporter and Mr. Rogers were probably the more entertaining parts of the movie. I really fucking like this movie. I love this movie. It's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. It's getting amazing reviews, and it deserves all the good reviews it's getting. I highly recommend it. Fucking go check it out. I really do recommend it. Honestly, over stuff like Frozen 2, this is way better than Frozen 2, I thought. Way better. And, of course, Frozen 2 was number one. you didn't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to figure that out. The Frozen 2 was going to be the number one movie over this. Yeah, I understood that, but still, I hope this movie does find an audience. More of an audience. Only new trailer I got, surprisingly, this is the first time I got this trailer ever. Sonic the Hedgehog. I didn't even get the old trailer that everybody hates. What do you say about Sonic the Hedgehog that hasn't been said about this fucking movie already? If you've been living under a rock, this movie was supposed to come out like around this time in November, and everybody had a violent, angry reaction to the trailer, and especially the look of Sonic the Hedgehog, which I agree looked horrible, but we never fixed the fucking look of the Cats movie, but whatever, that's just me. And I literally did get the Cats trailer right after the Sonic Hedgehog trailer, and it's night and day, like the effects, and Sonic the Hedgehog looks a hell lot better than it does in the Cats movie, which is fucking this big budgeted musical. But you know what, Sonic the Hedgehog, like I said, I love the look and design. They did a better job with the design and look of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not sure about this movie. It doesn't look bad. Honestly, the trailer isn't that bad. There's some parts of it I did laugh at. I don't know. I like the idea of Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik. That could be fun. I have high hopes. I have some hopes, but not much because it's a video game movie. So it's being released in February, and that could be give or take good or bad. Here's hoping it's good. I do hope it's good. Like, I do want a good movie, so maybe it will be. Maybe it will be a surprise. I don't know. That's as far as trailers go. This week, what the hell comes out? Knives Out and Queen and Slim. Both movies I'm looking forward to a lot. So I won't probably get around to those until later this weekend. I probably won't be able to see it on Wednesday. I'm pretty busy on Wednesday. No, obviously I'm not going to see it on Thursday. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. So probably sometime this weekend I'll go see them. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everybody has safe holidays. I'll be back after the holidays. And until then, I will talk to you guys later.